playing catch ball with him. I'd really like to see the layout that you have in mind in your footprint that you have. How are you going to lay these other cells out? Are there some synergies that you're going to gain? What's the next step that you're going to take? When can you tell me when you've taken that step, what we've learned? That's the kind of conversation that I'm having with my leaders across all the organization, and they respond to it with, that's interesting. He owns the box now. That's his box. It's not mine. I'm responsible for the output of the overall system, but he's responsible for what comes out of that assembly area, as is the machine shop, as is Steve out of procurement and supply chain. So it's a way to challenge differently. The two gentlemen here, they've got big smiles on their face, and that's actually in the black ops line that they're standing in there. It's full on today. It's a lot of fun. I wish I could bring you through there and show you the kind of work that they did, but it's that energy that they're after. One of the approaches that we use is we call it pattern for daily improvement. Many of you have seen this slide. It's Toyota Kata. And so we shifted from Toyota Kata to pattern for daily improvement because people could figure out immediately it was a daily improvement item and it was a pattern they were supposed to follow. But it's simple, straightforward, and it's really effective. Understanding the direction, that's the vision. That's maybe the vision or the challenge or the Hoshin. Those three can line up at different levels of the organization. Grasping that current condition, really understanding what matters, where you're at, what are the key pieces of that, and then establishing a target pattern, target condition that you want to follow. And then through experimentation, this is the daily piece. Every day, a small experiment. Take a step, take a step, take a step. This is a great approach for C2V because it puts that challenge right out in front of them, and then you're meeting with these people on a daily basis. So we started January of 2014 with one learner, two coaches, and an outside second coach by the name of Julie Simmons that came in and set us on fire with this stuff. And we went to work, and amazing things happened. Today we have 24 coaches, and 14 of them are second coaches that they've worked through to the point where we're expanding their responsibilities. They're teaching the pattern of PDI. That's their role. 41 learners, and it's just beginning. I want to see, there's 750 of us in our company. I want to see 750 learners. I want to see at least that they've had an opportunity to walk through this kind of activity, because that's the creative benefit of an entire organization, not of a team, not of a few, but of everybody that we can put in place. Here's two pictures. The gentleman on the left's name's Tim Fogel, big smile, been around the company for a long time. He was one of these folks that had just kind of been allowed to show up and do the job. Not that he didn't do a good job, he did. He's always done a good job. His leader, Richard Snyder, who's in the audience today, he challenged him to go look at our processing area, how we do a second ops processing. We clean, we burr, we blacken. It's dirty, it's messy, it's ugly, it's a constraint. Nobody wants to do that kind of work in that area. And Tim's taken on that task to make that better. He's halfway through he's made some great gains already, some dollar gains, some lead time gains, some quality gains, and the biggest gain of all is a smile on his face. He's engaged. And his partner's doing a different challenge in the same area, he's engaged. Again, two people that have been leading for a long time at a lead person level, not that excited about the company. These folks are coming in excited. The team on the right, the gentleman on the far right, he's been in the machine shop for a long time, and he came to his supervisor and said, I know there's all these really good ideas out there that our people have, and we're not taking advantage of them. They're just falling to the wayside, and they're great ideas. I'd really like to put together some type of a system, a suggestion system, some type of a system where we could actually capture those. And his supervisor had just come through the CI team and decided to go out on the ops team, Mark Wagner. And Mark Wagner says, you know what? Let me coach you through that. Let's go do that. And so what he's come up with has only been in play now for about 3 months, but those three people standing up there with their fingers pointing to their suggestions are the people that had their ideas moved all the way through this new process successfully and implemented. And they are excited. And that's happening again and again and again. We have a bunch of cards on that board that are walking through that process. Again, that's that creative benefit that we're after. Challenge them, let them be creative, let them know how valuable they are to us. So if you think about it, the human impact that we're talking about is a real impact for me, because I don't think you can measure the creative ideas, the innovations, the new products, the improved processes in just dollars. The dollars always show up. It's amazing. They always show up. That's what as business leaders we're after. Our language is money. But the real driver of that is the people. So what are we talking? We're talking change culture. There's a fresh leadership conversation that's taken place. That's new to a lot of these folks that have been there. We have folks that have been there 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, a lot. And then we have a bunch of people that are moving through quickly. How do we keep them engaged? It's through this type of a approach. The worker energy and engagement, again, is fantastic. Their creativity, their innovation, over the top. They also start to understand the systems. So those visions that we created connect all those systems for them in a way that they can get behind them. They couldn't see that before. They don't understand the work that they do, how that affects the next step, how that affects the company. That's a huge thing. Just communicating the vision allows them to understand the system, the strategy deployment that you have in your company that's been missing every day. Daily communications, face-to-face, thriving people. That's the human impact. It's huge. Now, the business impact. Does it exist? Absolutely. Our direct costs projected, I will give you that, but I've already seen the trend lines and I know where they're at, are going to be in 2017 equal to what we did in 2015, and my volume is going to be up higher. It's for the CFO in the room. It's a good thing, right? Yeah. Also, our fill rate has continued to improve. We were in the mid to low 40s on our on-time delivery. And it was because it was decisions that we made as leaders, quite honestly. I'm not going to say anything but that. There's a seasonality to our business, and we just didn't have a good strategy for it. And then we backed up and started looking at it. We started the conversation. How do we fix this? We can fix this. And it came through a challenge. It came through a discussion of having a new supply strategy that we put together. And the results are our fill rates went up. They're in the low 90s now. They're not perfect, but we've been recognized by two of our top customers as the supplier of the year since this time, since we addressed these problems. That's a big result. Those suppliers or those customers want to work with us. Our quality continues to improve now. 88 to 92, 93% is where it's at. First pass yield out of assembly. Doesn't seem like much, but that's huge, and we're heading towards 98. And the work that we're doing is going to be coming out of this black ops area, this new process, and it's going to be brought down across the rest of the assembly areas. It'll be scalable, it'll be repeatable, and it'll be there forever if we stay and execute on this vision. And then finally, the safety. Safety is a big item for us. I typically put it on the very top, but I wanted to close with on safety. 2016, we had our second lowest number of accidents in the company's history. And this is while the company's growing. It's 50% less than it was last year, and last year was 20% less than the year before. And we were out there kind of cruising along for a while. We made it a priority. We made it a Hoshin. And then we put challenges in place to go to work on it. And then we put improvement steps in place to go to work on that. And the results that we get are obvious. Additionally, Leupold Stevens is being recognized by the government, by the governor's office and OSHA office on March 8th as a leader in teaching and training and safety practices. We're really excited about that. We get to go to a luncheon and get recognized, but again, it's that value. It's not just C2V value for the people, it's value for the organization. It's the ultimate in win-win. You can't overstate how important that is to get your entire workforce working on this type of activities for the human impact, but also for the business impact. What do we want? Engaged teams. When? Now. That could be a chant. That could be like a high school, maybe. You guys want to try that? No? Okay. So the question is, are you engaging your people? Are you working down in this status quo world where you're managing more than you're leading? If so, I'm challenged to you to step up. Take some risks. Do something different. Be bold. It's an opportunity that you have. Move towards that breakthrough and then see how long you can stay in that area. See what results you get. Have a long-term vision. Work on the culture. Decide what's most important in your organization this year, and as you do that, then start putting challenges out that matter, that align the organization and the business needs. Because when you do that, you're going to get energy like you've never got before, and you're going to get results like you've never seen before. And you will improve the creativity, the innovation, and hopefully you will dominate your market space. So, just in closing, the work of a C2V leader, create that environment where your people thrive. Strive for excellence in everything that you do. There's nothing that can't be done better. Align people, engage teams with challenges, create the gaps. Don't close them for your folks. Create them. That's your role. Keep those gaps open. That's creativity's rolling through your organization when you do that. Coach, teach, develop. Make something new happen. Today, you're the leader of the sandbox. It's your sandbox. Make something special happen with the time that you have in that sandbox. Make it different. Make it special. I appreciate everybody coming today. This conversation is important to me. I believe it's important to business in general, but to me, Portland manufacturing, Portland business, this is critical for us to figure this stuff out and have this conversation. So thank you very much, and I appreciate any questions or thoughts or concerns that you might have.